The Foreign Minister Julie Bishop has expressed disappointment over the Cambodian election, saying it did not represent a free vote. The party of Prime Minister Hun Sen has claimed victory in yesterday's poll that's been described as a sham. Critics say the Prime Minister has conducted a campaign of intimidation after disbanding the main opposition party last year. Southeast Asia correspondent Liam Cochrane reports from Phnom Penh.
Congratulations on a wonderful victory.
Kisses for a dictator the morning after. Prime Minister Hun Sen arranged these international observers to oversee yesterday's election to feign legitimacy. But the results suggest otherwise, a clean sweep of every single seat. Exiled opposition leaders are now calling for peaceful protests.
This is a sham election with a foregone conclusion. So Mr. Hun Sen seems to be victorious, but it is a meaningless victory.
If you just look at the history of Cambodian elections, it's the most undemocratic, almost authoritarian, almost fraudulent election since 1976, when the Khmer Rouge were in power.
It's hard to get a sense of how Cambodians feel about this election because most people are scared to talk about politics. So we've come here to Stung Min-che. It's a suburb of Phnom Penh known to be a hotspot for the opposition. Here, 5 years ago, after the last national election, people rioted. They were angry their names were left off the voter list. They overturned 2 military police cars and set them on fire.
I feel like the election yesterday was not free or fair. There was only one guy who competes with himself.
Many people here told us off camera they cast spoiled ballots or stayed home.
I didn't vote because there's no party that I like or trust.
Outside Phnom Penh, in the ancient capital of Udong, this migrant worker said he was forced to return to vote.
I was under pressure from the village chief. We can't vote for another party or else my family will never get a passport from the authorities to work in Thailand. So we have no choice.
The Australian government is expressing serious concern about how the election was managed, but is committed to working with the government of the day. The ruling party is boasting the elections meant Cambodia is a multi-party democracy, but with no other voices in Parliament, it's clearly now a one-party state. Liam Cochrane, ABC News, Phnom Penh.
And a Four Corners investigation has uncovered how the long arm of the Hun Sen regime stretches to Australia, where Cambodians are threatened for speaking out. Sophie McNeil has the story.
Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen isn't shy about talking up his relationship with Australia.
When I was in Australia, the people came and kissed me. It proved that not only the people in Cambodia like me, but people in Australia also like me too.
There are calls on Australia to take firm action against the former Khmer Rouge commander.
I'd like to see Australia take a stronger stance, come out openly and condemn the Hun Sen regime. They're not doing that.
Four Corners has uncovered properties and businesses in Australia owned by Hun Sen's family members and his political allies. The regime has also been recruiting members in Australia, with the local Cambodian community monitored and even threatened if they participate in opposition activities.
This is not right.
Victorian MP Hong Lim wants the government to step in.
They allow this foreign government to come and intimidate our people, Australian citizens, and those who come here to study.
Democracy activists are angry Australia strengthened ties with Cambodia last year, while the government there was cracking down on the opposition and the media.
Australians, we envy you. You live in a world of democracy. But your government is disappointing.
Mu Sokua is the exiled deputy leader of the dissolved Cambodian National Rescue Party. She accuses the Australian government of cozying up to Cambodia's dictator, pointing to the $50 million refugee resettlement deal signed with the regime in 2014.
I said to Minister Bishop, Australia, please use visa sanctions.
The US has already begun to impose visa restrictions and asset freezes on those close to Hun Sen. Sophie McNeil, ABC News.